Okay, welcome back. Black Box Games, episode 11, Super Mario Bros. On the NES Classic Mini. And we're just going to go ahead and jump right in because we've got a bit of a long game ahead of us. And the only thing I want to mention at the top is my high score for Super Mario Bros. Currently 682,250 points. And we're going to try and break that on this video. Also wanted to just take a moment to mention that this basically marks the halfway point of our Black Box series. You know, we're not doing... There's 7 titles we're excluding. We're not doing Donkey Kong Jr. Math because it's rare and expensive. We're not doing the 4 Zapper games, Gumshoe, Duck Hunt, Wild Gunman, and Hogan's Alley. We're also not doing the 2 Rob the Robot games, Gyrmite and Stack Up. We're not doing those 6 games because I don't have a way to capture the footage off the CRT television yet, so maybe someday in the future, but if so, it's far, far away in the distance. In the meanwhile, this will be the 11th one we've done, and we'll have 10 more to go. We got the 6 sports titles. We also have Mach Rider, Slalom, and Excite Bike. Oh, and Clu Clu Land. That's the 10th one. So 11 down. This will be the 11th down, and we'll have 10 more to go. And I've really enjoyed doing these Black Box games. It's really fun to go back in time and play the games that got the Nintendo Entertainment System off the ground. Okay, so what can you say about Super Mario Bros. That hasn't already been said? The answer is nothing. This game has been played to death, talked about to death, reviewed to death, considered it's probably one of the most significant games ever made. Right up there with Space Invaders and Pac-Man. So since there's really nothing original left to say about it, I thought, well, we might as well talk about it in the context of being a black box game. You know, after all, that is what we're talking about, is black box games. So how does this game relate to the other black box games? And, for one, it doesn't feel like a black box game. It's easy to forget that it is one. When you think of black box games, you think of games like Balloon Fight and Donkey Kong Jr. You don't typically think of Super Mario Bros. Even though it is a black box game. That's because this is quite a bit more ambitious than the rest of them. They were seeking to do something really special with Super Mario Bros. It's a lot longer. You have a bunch of unique levels, which are designed to challenge the player with extraordinary platforming precision, but with a very fair learning curve. Ooh, I hope we can get this Goomba. Oh, I missed him. Whenever I get him, I feel like that's 100 points well earned. Oh, and I left some points on the table. Gonna have to make that up. Having good luck with the fireworks, though, so that kind of eases the sting a little bit. But it is kind of unfair to compare this game to Donkey Kong Jr., Pinball. You know, and I love those games. There's nothing wrong with them. But a quote I'm fond of using is those games, they felt antiquated before we ever got to know them because, you know, you compare them to Super Mario Bros., which was the pack-in game with the Nintendo Entertainment System. And it just felt like, you know, too, I guess limited is the right way to say it. I always think of, it's from the Mike and Bootsy episode where they play Donkey Kong Jr., and Bootsy talks about owning Donkey Kong Jr. Mike Matei and Bootsy on Cinemassacre. He said he had Donkey Kong Jr. as part of his original collection, and that it left a sour taste in his mouth because, you know, there were already, I don't want to say more interesting, but more ambitious games. I just missed it. But there were already, like, you know, the Mega Man games, the Castlevanias, the Ninja Gaidens, all that stuff was already out by the time most of us were getting our Nintendo Entertainment System. So the black box games, like, you know, Pinball and Balloon Fight and Donkey Kong 3 and Popeye, you know, they would have seemed primitive to us, and they did, and it's unfortunate. Okay, so all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about what on earth am I doing? Why am I trying to, if you've been watching how I've been playing, you're noticing that I'm trying to get as many points as possible. I'm using every trick in the book to try to get as many points. One thing I'm not doing is I am not doing what's called point scabbing, you know, using spamming any kind of exploit. You know, all the points I am getting are in the natural course of playing the game. And that's how I believe you get a high score. So, you know, you take a game like Super Mario Bros. What do you do when you can beat the game consistently? How do you keep the game fresh, you know, and still challenge yourself when you play it? Well, there's a couple things you can do. One is you can try to beat it without losing any lives. You can also try to beat it without using any power-ups. Or, you can start speedrunning the game, which is what a lot of players turn to. There's nothing wrong with it. I personally, not my cup of tea. It is, I will admit, very interesting sometimes, you know, when you're watching someone speedrun a game like Metroid or Super Metroid, a game that was just meant for speedrunning. You know, the tricks that some of these players come up with, all in the name of shaving off a few seconds here and a few seconds there to race to the finish. It's pretty outstanding. But that's not what I like to do. I like to score chase. I like to challenge myself by trying to get as high a score as possible. So a game like Super Mario Bros. It is interesting. It mystified us as kids that they even bothered having a score. A scoreboard, a score counter. Like, what was the point of it? As kids, you know, we were just concerned with trying to be able to beat the game. We didn't care. what our score was. We didn't pay attention. Most of us didn't pay attention to it. But now as you get older, as I get older, I find I do pay attention. I do care. Because, you know, I can beat the game, so I find the next logical way to challenge myself. Oh, and that's going to cost us some points. Most of us would have been fine without having a scoreboard in Super Mario Bros. But it's like I said, you know, the score is a numeric value that, you know, shows you how well you dominated the game, you know, how well you played. And these days I find when I play, I like to see that, you know, oh, I, you know, got this many points. That means that, you know, you have all these opportunities to score, and this is a game that gives you, you know, tons of opportunities to score. You are just constantly racking up points, defeating enemies, getting coins, every block you break. Alright, we're closing in on 200,000 points now. But basically the game presents you with, you know, just a plethora of opportunities to rack up points and achieve, you know, a high score. So at the end, when you're done, you can take a look and say, I hit, you know, this many opportunities to score. I was successful this many times. And I think that's fun. I think that's a great way of evaluating how dominant of a run you had when you were playing. And it's not just Super Mario Bros. That I do this to. I do this with, you know, Super Mario Bros. 2. More points left on the table. I do this with, I did it with Karate Kid. I did it with Jaws. You know, I'm always paying attention to my score. Oh, we don't want that. Because we get more points for defeating enemies this way than we do by using the star. Alright, getting close to 300,000. Alright, so now we're over 300,000 points. And I guess it's impossible for me to play Super Mario Bros. And talk about the black box games without mentioning Super Mario Bros. Sister game, which is Duck Hunt. You know, for the overwhelming majority of us. Oh, bummer. But we got Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt on the dual cartridge bundled with the NES Zapper. Which, yeah, was a perfect match. Now, it's always kind of bugged me, but if you ask the overwhelming majority of, retro players, ask them two questions. Ask them, what is the best Zapper black box game? And then ask them, what is the best Zapper game, period. And I'm pretty sure you'll get the same answer every time. By the way, we are right about at the halfway point of the game, and we're also right about halfway where we need to get the new high score, so it's getting kind of tight. Can't leave too many more points on the table. But they're going to tell you it's Wild Gunman, and that always bugged me, because Wild Gunman is just kind of a gimmicky quick draw game. Nowhere near as good as Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt, obviously the best black box game. The challenge is fair. Bright, colorful, good sound. Hands down, Duck Hunt. Genius move packaging it with the Zapper and Super Mario Bros. I think it's a game a lot of us took for granted. And the targets, of course, move faster as you make it to the later levels. Now, as far as the best Zapper game goes, I've always believed that it's Barker Bill's Trick Shooting. That game, to me, the mini-games are fun. It's, again, good sound, good colors. Everything looks good. It's fair. And most importantly, I think with Barker Bill's Trick Shooting, the theming is spot on. You have a, late 19th, early 20th century trick shooting carnival. What an awesome theme for a game dedicated to the Zapper. I know we can get points for knocking those lifts down, but it's risky, so those are points I'm gonna leave on the table without any regret. Alright, so now we're at 400,000. So far, I feel pretty good about this run. Alright, we are going to make King Koopa come to us, because we don't want to come any closer than we have to. Especially since there's no time bonus anyway. That's something that I think I may have mentioned this, but that's something that they figured, they finally got right in Super Mario Bros. 2 Japan. They convert your remaining time to points at the end of the castle stages. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And I apologize if the commentary is starting to get light. Maybe some of you prefer it that way, but this is the part of the game where I find I really need to, you know, buckle down and focus on what I'm doing. closing in on 500,000 points. So we may have a shot at a new high score. I would love to be able to get 700,000, but I think I may have missed too many scoring opportunities, so not sure that one's going to happen. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get the point bonus for defeating King Koopa with fireballs. That bums me out. Oops. Yeah, getting real sloppy with this run, so we're gonna have to buckle down. Alright, and we are very close to just needing, what do we need, 150,000? I know there's a vine or an entrance to coin heaven here somewhere. There it is. And coin heaven, of course, just a great opportunity to rack up points. Alright, so now we are at the point where all we need is 100,000 points. And we've got all of World 7 and 8 to do it. Struggling a little bit on this one. Feel like I'm a little out of rhythm. Oof. Oh. Epic fail. I was hoping to at least keep that power up on screen. Couldn't even do that. Okay, World 7. Still going strong. Need fewer than 100,000 points. Alright, that's how that's done. Unfortunately, no power-up. Okay, we're over 600,000. Can't afford to get careless here. I think we're going to make it, though. Right now, the only thing that concerns me is, off the top of my head, I do not recall the solution for the World 7 castle. Alright, so I don't remember the solution. I think it's... Is it top, bottom, top, or... I know it's a labyrinth. We got a little bit to figure it out. Bottom, middle, top. Okay, so that's the first one. Oh, and look at that. We got it on the first try. Let's get some bonus points. Force King Koopa to come to us. And yeah, I think this high score is in the bag. We might have a shot at 800,000 after all. Now, there is a star on the next level that I will get, just because I really don't feel like... This next level, there's... Oh, I jumped. But you barely have enough time to make it through this next level, so... I do not mind getting the star. Oh, I lost. That's the first life. That's too bad. Man, I was so sure we had a shot at a deathless run. And with that, we are now Officially got a high score. Happy about it, but not happy that I lost a life in doing so. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish off this game. And look at that, we're over 700,000. I do hope I can get a fire flower before I get to the third level. Not that extra lives mean anything, but we'll go ahead and get it anyway. And losing that mushroom there is so devastating because now I don't think we're going to be able to have a flower on the next level. Which is unfortunate because we really need it to get past those Hammer Brothers. Oof. I hate when that happens. Yeah, and it always goes through them. Oh, my goodness. And as badly as I wanted this to be a no-death run, I guess I can live with the fact that I've died twice so far. Hopefully there won't be a third, because... Okay, so now we got our flower. Who knows, maybe we'll luck out and we'll be able to beat King Koopa with the flower. The good news is, so obviously we're not going to get an extremely high score, but it's going to be high enough that, you know, we'll have something to shoot for maybe in the future. Alright, let's try and keep the flower. Force him to come out of hiding a little bit. Alright, there we go. We defeated him. We got over 750,000 points. Only died twice. So, I'm okay with that, because any other black box game, you know, we die a couple of times. Not a deathless run, which is disappointing. 2 deaths, though, I can live with that. 1 in World 8-1, 1 in World 8-3. But good score, good game. And, you know, this marks the midway point. We're over the hump in the Black Box series. So, not sure what... I think probably Excite Bike is going to be the next one. Then we'll have to launch into the sports titles. And I'm thinking that we're going to... You know, we'll get Slalom and... Mach Rider in there somewhere, but I'm thinking that we'll end with Clue Clue Land. I think that'll be the one we end with, so... Anyway, stay tuned. More coming.